Number 1. The drive-thru. It was summer. The night sky was cloudy, and business had been slow. I love Wendy's, but I was tired. The drive-thru stays open until 1 a.m., usually. It was just me and my coworker, Paul. Paul is a nice guy, but he's a little flaky. This night was no different. Around 12:05, he told me he had to leave to pick up his younger sister from a party because she had been drinking. I let him go, figuring we hadn't had any customers for a while. I started making myself a burger to take home when all of a sudden a small blue car came up to the drive-thru speaker. "Welcome to Wendy's. Can I help you?" There was no reply. I could only hear a light breathing coming through my headphones. I asked again. I couldn't see who was in the car. The drive-thru cameras were pretty crappy, and the person driving looked like nothing but blurry pixels. Still no reply. I was about to get angry when all of a sudden I heard a small voice. "Is Paul there?" No, sorry. He's not working. Can I ask who this is?" I said. There was silence for what felt like hours, but was only seconds. "His sister," the voice whispered. "Mary." His sister, I thought. She shouldn't be driving. He had just said that she was drinking. "Oh, Paul just left, saying he was going to pick you up. Are you okay to drive?" More silence. I was about to say something else when I thought I heard the Frosty machine acting up. I turned towards it, but it was off. When I turned back towards the monitor, the car was gone. I rubbed my eyes. Obviously, this lack of sleep was getting to me. I decided to call Paul, just in case. As I was dialing his number into my phone, I saw the small blue car parked outside of the Wendy's. He answered, but his voice was quiet and muffled. "Hey, dude," I said, but couldn't finish. It sounded like he was crying. "Paul?" I said, concerned. "Dude," he choked back into the receiver. "I just got a call. My sister is dead. She left the party without me. She died in a car accident." My heart was beating in my ears, and my hands were shaky. I dropped my phone, walking towards the window to get a better look. If I squinted my eyes enough, I could see the faint silhouette of a young girl. My heartbeat stopped. Suddenly, I realized the car she was driving was completely destroyed. The front was crushed, as if it had been in a serious collision. My vision faded, and right before I passed out, I swore I could see the face of the girl screaming. It was distorted. The last thing I heard before everything went black was Paul's name. When I came to, the car was gone, and there was no trace on the drive-thru footage that it was ever there. I tried telling my coworkers about the experience, but they all thought I was making some sort of insensitive joke. Paul never returned to Wendy's, and I stopped working late shifts.
Number 2. The free ring. Long-time lurker, first-time poster. Has something ever happened to you that defied reality? An event so devoid of logic and common sense that you can only describe it as you would a dream or a nightmare? This story occurred during the summer after my senior year of high school and has lived in my mind ever since. I was working at a supermarket a few blocks away from my house when I got a text message from Regina, my best friend at the time, asking me if I wanted to go out to eat with her after my shift ended. "Of course," I responded. I mean, why wouldn't I? A few hours passed, and once my shift ended, Regina came to pick me up. I was absolutely famished by the time her white Jeep rolled into the parking lot. As we headed out onto the highway, we began to talk. Me about my work day, and Regina about an art project she was making for her family. "Where are we going to eat?" I asked. "Someplace nice?" I hoped. "I figured we go to McDonald's," Regina said with a smile on her face. "McDonald's?" I thought to myself. I couldn't believe we were going to my favorite restaurant. It seemed like nothing would ruin that day. We pulled into the McDonald's parking lot. I unfastened my seatbelt vest and we raced inside. Regina needed some time to look over the menu, but I knew what I wanted. "A number 2, please," I said to the boy behind the counter. "Do you want that as a meal?" he asked. I laughed. Only a sucker would take a quarter pounder without fries and a soda for only a few dollars extra. "Yes, with large fries and a Coke, please." He rang me up and Regina got a 10-piece chicken nugget with fries and a Sprite. The aroma was killing me, but thankfully, we only had a few moments to wait. That's what we loved about that place. Quality fresh food at quality speed. I unwrapped my sandwich and began to eat. It was absolutely phenomenal, and Regina seemed to agree. It seemed nothing could ruin the meal. I was grabbing my fries and my ketchup when something caught my eye. "Oh my, I thought this day couldn't get any better," I said. "Is there any better feeling in the world than getting a free onion ring with your fries?" Regina smiled at me and I scarfed it down. But something was wrong. I slowly looked up at Regina, and I'll never forget the look of absolute terror that engulfed her. "But," she said, "McDonald's doesn't serve onion rings."
Number 3. The Sneak King. I was on break from university for holiday. It was a stormy December, and my flight home had been cancelled, making it the first Christmas I'd spend all by myself. After probably flunking my last final, I made my way to my apartment, 2 blocks from campus. Though I was mad at myself for not studying, I was so hungry that thinking about what I'd order for dinner is what occupied my mind. I was about to get in the elevator to my floor when I got the sudden urge to check my mailbox. I expected to find maybe a bill or a holiday postcard from Nan, but what I found in there was a small cardboard box with no return address. I made my way up to the apartment and grabbed some scissors from the cupboard and opened the box. Inside was a letter and what looked to be some sort of video game. I opened up the letter and inside was a small folded paper that read, "Dear Brandon, do not play this game. Under no circumstances place this into your Xbox 360. Your dear friend, Matty." I was so confused. I haven't spoken to Matty since we were in primary school, when him and his family moved far away. Why would he send me a game that I couldn't play? I had to see what the game was, so I opened up the packaging to reveal an original copy of Sneak King. It was bizarre. It was a Burger King stealth game from 2006? I began to laugh out loud. When Matty and I were friends many years ago, I remember the two of us getting Burger King with his father and getting a copy of this game with a Whopper. We wanted to play the game so bad, but well, I didn't have an Xbox 360 until after Matty left, and he took the game with him. This all must have been some sort of Christmas time practical joke. As I read the back of the game, my stomach gurgled, reminding me of how hungry I was. With all this thinking about Sneak King, I was starving for a Whopper. I went on my phone and made an order to Grubhub for a double Whopper with fries and a large Coke. After making my purchase, the app said it would take over an hour for my meal, probably due to the storm. I groaned loudly. What was I going to do for that long with no food in the apartment? I looked at the Xbox 360 next to my TV. It had been gathering dust ever since I got my PlayStation 4 for my birthday. "Do not play this game," Maddie had said. What a weird joke. I plugged in the HDMI cord to my TV and opened up the disc tray and placed the game inside. I was oddly excited. I knew it would be a gag gift, but I finally got the chance to play this game almost 10 years after I last had the opportunity to. The game booted up the menu and I hit play. The first level was at the sawmill. The workers were walking around, hungry with burgers in thought clouds above their heads. In the game, you play as the Burger King and you sneak up behind these NPCs, and if you are successful with your approach, you surprise each character with a short dance before presenting them with the Whopper of their desire. It wasn't long before I realized this was the best video game I had ever played. I was almost in a trance as I would sneak up behind each worker, sometimes even hiding in boxes or sawdust piles, and then popping up with a dance move that would put Patrick Swayze to shame. Every burger that I gave made me grin. Before I knew it, I unlocked the next level, the cul-de-sac stage. I was so excited to give more NPCs the burgers they needed, but something was wrong. Though the frame rate and the level loaded in fine, my Burger King character began glitching, like he was fading from the game. I tested my controls and they seemed to work fine. It wasn't ideal, but I figured I might as well continue. I made my way up the street when I saw a soccer mom with a large burger icon above her head. This was my chance. I snuck up behind her and gave her a regular surprise, and the king started to dance. I was so excited to see the look on her face as she'd get the Whopper she needed, but what happened next chilled me to my bone. The king continued to dance and started to laugh a ghostly laugh. The woman started to cry, which only made the king laugh harder. The screen started to get brighter and brighter, and the colors started to seemingly drip downwards. I did the only thing I could do. I popped the disc tray open and grabbed the game. I examined the bottom of the disc for scratches, but there were none. It looked practically new. I figured I might as well take a breath on the disc and wipe it with my shirt. Surely the game must have glitched. I thought about Matty's letter again, but I just had to continue the game. I popped it back into the tray and started the game back up. It seemed to be acting normal, so I let out a laugh and hit continue progress as the loading screen popped up. I thought I might as well check the status of my delivery. Playing this game only made me hungrier. Grubhub said it would be there within 5 minutes. I was so excited, but my happiness quickly turned to horror when I loaded the game back up to the cul-de-sac level. There was something off. The Burger King, who I had been playing as, was just gone. I tried moving the directional buttons, but it would just push the in-game camera around, like it would my characters. As I looked around the level, the cheery music was now replaced by a loud droning noise, which sounded like something out of a nightmare. All the NPCs were lying on the ground in large pools of a red substance, almost like ketchup or blood. There was a knock at my door which alarmed me so much I fell off my couch. I quickly got up and moved towards the door.
Who's there?
No one replied. I looked through the peephole and saw nothing. I slowly opened the door and looked down the hall. Completely empty. A beautiful aroma entered my nose, and I looked down to see a Burger King bag. I let out a sigh of relief as I picked it up and brought it inside. I opened up my Whopper and began to chow down. It was incredible. Every bite was better than the last. After finishing the meal, I headed towards the TV to turn it off when I realized the game had changed since I last looked at it. The Burger King had returned, but he was in a new level. It was an apartment that looked eerily familiar to mine. The same living room setup, an Xbox, the same TV. It even had an NPC that looked exactly like me. I went to grab the controller, but I couldn't find it. I looked back at the screen, and the Burger King had made his way to the kitchen, which had a Burger King bag on the counter, just like mine did. In the game, the Burger King jumped in and hid in the bag, and in my own kitchen I heard a noise of paper ruffling. I don't know if I ate too much, or I was just so scared that I wanted to throw up. I made my way to the bag, and with all the strength I had, I looked inside of it. I began to laugh. Of course there was nothing there, I thought. I've just been playing too many video games. I threw out the bag and turned off my TV. As I made my way to bed, I noticed something kind of strange. The trash can that I threw my BK bag in began to shake. All of a sudden, a 7-foot Burger King jumped from the wastebasket. His eyes were completely black. He began dancing and laughing.
Time to have it my way.